It's my pleasure and honor to be able to catch Professor John Quelch on his way from other Asian countries to the United States, and it was very lucky. Yesterday, Ms. Mita came across with me in the elevator there in this international house, and we all know she is a very active woman in developing better communication between people in Western countries as well as many Asian countries. And I don't ask, as my friend once asked, the same kind of question that how Waseda and Keio are dealing together. Well, I never, I would never name faculty Harvard, but I came to study to MIT, to visit MIT in 1960s, and I lived in apartment near a church just across the yard, and so I feel very much familiar with it. And also I was a research associate of Susan Farr's program, US-Japan relations. Yes. And I agree in many of your points to see the present situation of Japan. Just the main points are first, Japanese population and labor force are stationary or even declining, and it's not the time to increase the scale of the Japanese economy. We have to improve the quality of the Japanese economy. That is related to the third arrow of the Abenomics you just mentioned.
Yes.
And in order to do that, we need not only technology. Monozukuri was really successful to keep Toyota and Sony very active, and that's keep our living standard and the civility of the life in Japan. But from now on, if population is stagnant, what we can do is to improve the quality of technology, business, and life. And how to do it is not just communication with machines or communication with technology that were needed in 1960s of high growth period. So we need to have more human skill or soft power of doing business if we use another Harvard Professor Joseph Nye's usage. And population growth, of course, if the Japanese population is suddenly decreased into the half of the past level, that's not so much problem because we can have more resources. But the world is moving, so the younger population has to feed so many more older generation.
yes.
That is
The dependency
serious.
ratio,
Yes.
we call it. Yeah.
And about the improvement of Japanese business quality or diplomatic quality and so forth, so many Japanese learned how to learn, imitate, rather passively from abroad. The those who are in large business and more influential, I should say, Japanese government went to law school or economic school, learned how to memorize what's going on abroad, what's in the science, but they are not trained how to think themselves and communicate their own ideas
Yes.
to the public or to negotiating partners and so forth. So that's the lack of active concern on human or business affairs is right now at the drawback, and many people are encouraged to go abroad and go to Harvard and learn and come back, and they call it global jinzai, human materials, but they take it, Japanese firms take them as an input, that
Right, right.
they go to abroad and have more English fluencies, then they can use with the old mind, I should say, of Japanese business, to make use of these people. But in order to develop more, better skills in international communication, those people who came back, one is Kikoku Shijo, or many kinds, should change the institutions. Robert Ashman said exit, voice, and loyalty, but always loyalty is emphasized. And
Yes.
Those globalized human resources are not utilized to change the world. Mita-san, are you a Kikoku Shijo?
No.
違います。Excellent English. She speaks. どこで英語を勉強されてますか？
In my high school, junior high school, and high school, and elementary school.
That's very exceptional
But
talent.
not so much.
But you may edit anyway. どうぞ
But I think you make an excellent point regarding the human resource capacity of Japanese businesses to be successful internationally. You are saying that yes, Japanese businesses recognize they have to have some international input, but as companies, they have not really become global companies. They are really still Japanese companies that happen to have international sales. And one of the examples currently that I think is very interesting is that of the pharmaceutical company Takeda.
Yeah.
And I am a great admirer of Hasegawa-san because he is attempting for the last 10 years to transform this company from Japanese company with some international sales to global company with Japanese heritage. And I think that more Japanese companies need to follow this example because although the Japanese market is quite a large market. As you say, not a growing market, but also now with China just not large enough on its own to enable a company to be global in scale. And then, of course, the company potentially just becomes protectionist. In other words, for its own survival, barriers are put up against foreign companies taking over Japanese companies, when in fact the health of the whole industry for the world depends on that increased consolidation of companies internationally for improved productivity and performance. So the challenge is, I think, that Japanese companies not really well equipped in many cases to confidently go international and become global companies. And not being able to become global companies, they defend then the Japanese market and just become weaker players, but protected by regulations that prevent them from being taken over, as might occur in Western Europe or North America.
For example, Shagai Juyaku external executives are promoted by the government, but the common reaction of firms are that they want to preserve the old kind of family, Kueisai family style, or Todai Gakubatsu style management, and they even try to minimize the power of Shagai Juyaku in some cases. And about the Takeda, I met my old friend here who is on the other side, and they are worrying about so many external appointments, external development, but without really contributing according to their productivity increase. And it's like Spielberg and other Rockefeller Center type of thing. Japanese business used to have tremendous financial resources to buy or to employ those real exceptional talent, but without speaking English in skillful way, it would be very difficult to control.
What is your impression, if I may ask, of the strength of the Japanese university system and its ability to deliver talent to Japanese business and the Japanese government that's truly global in quality?
I think first thing is they emphasize memory.
Still.
I saw an NHK wonderful program how doctor find out certain symptoms of a disease, whether it is dengue, I don't know English, but
dengue fever,
fever, or it's from other sources and so forth. And they chose most brilliant, I think, 3 students with a famous doctor. And the famous doctor asks, with these symptoms, what do you decide? This is 腸チブスってなんていうんですかね。腸チフス or デング熱 and the students are brilliant, but what they do is they remember all the
I see.
symptoms of
Yes.
and they quick answer at
Yeah.
the exact, but probably in Harvard Medical School they bring some pamphlet and see what's going on in
Right.
this and what
A little more
yes.
exploration, a little
yes,
bit.
and to explore different explanation,
Yeah.
etc. So
Yes.
they are so in spite of the excellence of that program, I felt students, including medical students, too much driven by memory and
Yes.
Another example is if you visit a security company also, so then there is a president, there is a chairman of the board. That's fine, but there are 3 or 4 rooms of the retired president and chairman,
Okay.
and they are talking together. So the new
Right.
way of business president would like to develop would be always compromise
Right,
of the old
right.
ideas. That is, the firms are not for the stock necessary for the stockholders, but firm is for the
Right.
employees and well-established executives.
Yes.
And maybe thinking of so employees more is has some good points, but
Yes.
that leaves efficiency really not so well. And if I come back to Abenomics, single parties, one problem in Japan right now, even though monetary policy and cheaper yen helped Japanese recovery. That recovery is kind of remarkable historical
it is.
thing.
Yes.
But still people would like to stick to cash or cash
Yes.
fixed income
Yes.
instruments.
Yes.
And I am a member of I'm advising one scholarship institution for foreign students from Todai. But one important donor prohibited the scholarship association from investing in non-fixed
Yes.
variable assets,
Yes.
and with 1%, 2% interest rate, it's impossible to
Yeah.
grow that kind of
Of course.
institution.
Yeah. Well,
And,
that's
but
unfortunate,
yes.
given the stock market in Japan
Yes.
has been very healthy in the last
Yes,
several
but
quarters.
Another unfortunate thing is, in 5-10 years back, Japanese stock market
Terrible.
was terrible, and many people lost
Yes.
the money. So that donor thought that Japanese technology had so much, but
Right.
Zytec
Right.
ruined it. And that kind of attitude is a macroeconomic problem closer to my field.
Yes.
Since because of the yen policy and stock market prosperity, Japanese firms increased a large amount of profits, and every day Nikkei describes even Panasonic increased to
Yes,
10% yesterday, and Sony is doing this. So
Yes.
profits is soaring, and even government revenues are recovering.
Right.
And market, the labor market is keeping tight with science. However, money the Japanese firm collected are not invested. They are not distributed to wages. They are not given back to stockholders. They are not invested in
Research and
direct.
development.
Yes, and even they are very too cautious about stock investment. So that's, I thought Japanese economy will recover if government stops many stupid, like, let's say, regulations
Yes,
on
yes.
labor and others. But I thought of returning to your question, finally, academic community, if Monbusho stops all the unnecessary control and so forth, then Japanese economy, Japanese academic will return to very active, like in Cambridge, Massachusetts. I still doubt because of this corporate structure is pulling back the macroeconomy is that Abenomics is trying to.
So perhaps one way of thinking
Yeah.
about this would be that on the monetary side, considerable progress has
Yes.
been made. On the fiscal side, progress has been made. But on the structural reforms,
Very
still slow. And the risk is that the monetary and fiscal efforts are successful enough, just successful enough, that it gives everyone the excuse again not to do the structural reforms.
But some part of deregulation and structural reforms are hard in any countries. I
hard.
don't think Mr. Abe should be criticized that reform is slow, because look at the United States immigration
Of
law,
course, of course.
gun safety, and TPP, all
Yes.
more or less direction of the reasonable reforms are agreed by at least reasonable people, but still, because of politics and interests, vested interests
Yes.
of the firms and so forth, its resistance is strong. So, I have some hope that
Good.
Mr. Abe and Mr. Suga, who is chief secretary of the